Thanks for tuning in to Chats with Your Self-Worth BFF. This is your host, Mikaela Filar, where we are here to skyrocket your self-worth, heal your shit, and take your power back. Welcome to the chat. Welcome back to Chats with Your Self-Worth BFF, the pod. Today, I have something super special for you. I have decided to put a little clip of my free self-love masterclass, Love Yourself Instead, on the podcast for you guys. And if you're interested in listening to the entire thing, I'm going to go ahead and put the information to get the link for the recording, the full recording, in the show notes below for you. So if you are interested and you love what you hear in the first half of it and you want to hear the second half of it, go ahead and check out the show notes below and fill out the form so that you can get the link for the recording sent directly to your email. And you will have that for as long as I decide to keep it up. So I hope that you like it. If you do, please do not forget to leave a rating and review for me. It really helps me stay motivated to keep on giving you guys this content. Full transparency, I don't make any money from this podcast, but what does keep me going is hearing from you guys the impact that what I am teaching makes on your guys' lives. So if you guys have the time and feel called to leave a rating and review, it would mean so much to me. I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you for being here. And I hope that you like today's recording. Welcome to Love Yourself Instead. I am so excited to be here. I cannot wait to just get to know everyone here a little bit better, whether that's via Instagram or inside of Glowed Up or inside of this class. But okay, let's get started. Let's get talking about what you guys are actually here for. Okay. So my mission is to help you heal, reprogram your limiting self-beliefs that are keeping you from living up to your truest potential, hack the matrix, break free from societal pressures, and skyrocket your self-love and self-image. And you guys have probably heard me say this, that self-love and self-image are literally the keys to living a life that is aligned, that you are excited to wake up to every day. And you might be wondering, Mikaela, what, that doesn't even make sense. Because I know when I heard it, that was my reaction. I was like, it can't be that easy or simple, right? It's never easy. It's simple. But let me explain. So having a 10 out of 10 self-love and self-image is the key to life because, like I said, the world is a giant mirror of how we think, what we feel, and what we believe to be true about ourselves. You often hear like what the universal law of attraction, what you think about, you get more of, right? So if you are constantly, it's the same thing with going like how you think about yourself. Like if you are constantly thinking, I'm ugly, or I hate myself, or I hate my life, and I'm broke, and I'm this, and I'm that, and then, and like you're just like negative, 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 guess what's going to happen? The world is going to reflect that back to you. The universe literally has their hands tied behind their back, and there is nothing that they can do to change your reality. We oftentimes we get this all messed up, right? Some people think that God, source, universe, whatever word best resonates with you, has like this, like they know they control your life, right? Like, oh, God hates me, source hates me, universe hates me. Like that's not the case. That is not the case. You are actually in charge of your reality. And the sooner that you realize that and you take radical fucking responsibility for your life, like radical responsibility, and it can get a little messy and it can get like a little bit, wait, I'm the problem? I'm not the problem, right? But like, guess what, bitch, you are. So the sooner you realize that, and the sooner you change the way you're thinking, the way you're talking to yourself, what you believe to be true about yourself, the sooner your reality will begin to manifest and like reflect what you believe to be true and think and feel about yourself. Okay. So this might be mind-boggling for you. And if this is all like new info, then that's great. Like, I want to get your wheels turning. I want you to understand that what you focus on grows. And what you believe, like I said, is reflected to you straight from source, God, universe. And so, how you feel and are being toward yourself is reflected to you in the form of people, circumstances that you find yourself in. And so, you like so these are called reflections. And what reflections are, they're so fun. They're little gifts from our higher self, right? So, there's source, and then there's higher self, and then there's our human self. And our higher self is just um, it's just it's our higher self is just us, but without all of our human limiting beliefs and doubts and et cetera, et cetera. Okay. So just know that you're always able to tap into your higher self. Okay. Um, but what reflections are little hints of what we need to heal and cycles that we need to break that are not serving our highest good. And it'll be like the higher self will throw reflections. And like I said, it can come in the form of people, circumstances that you find yourself in, also body elements. And we'll get into that more so in Glowed Up, which I'll talk about what that means, what that is at the end if you don't know already. But so I'll give you an example of one of each of these. So, in the form of people, let's say that you are not prioritizing yourself, not putting yourself first, not like just not prioritizing, not that is a literal definition of self love. Okay. Not prioritizing yourself, not putting you first. And you're maybe in a relationship, right? And you've got a significant other and they are not prioritizing you and they're not putting you first. And you're sitting here and you're just like, what the like what like I've asked them to do all the things. I've asked them to like put me first and to take me out on dates and blah blah blah. Guess what? You can nag all you want, sis, but the reality of it is that you are going to need to shift your internal reality. Start prioritizing yourself, start penciling yourself in, start making yourself a motherfucking priority. And because you are doing that for yourself, your significant other is going to reflect that back to you. I know that I just had this morning, I just saw one of my mentorship students, Missy. I love you. Hi. She has we've been working together for the last 3 months. Her transformation has been so incredible. And she literally just posted something this morning about her husband, like really just stepping it up and like buying her flowers and like it was like this bouquet and chocolates and a little card that said, I love you. And I was just like, and she's like, ever since I started um prioritizing myself and putting myself first and taking care of myself, like my husband has just stepped it the fuck up and I haven't had to say anything. It's just like it's just the universal law, man. It's just the universal law of reflection. Amazing. So let me just let you in on a little something. If your man or your woman ain't doing exactly what you want them to do, stop nagging them and start to change the way that you are being toward yourself. However, you feel like they are being, you are being that way toward yourself. And the sooner that you can wrap your head around that, took me a minute, but we can do it. I know if I can do it, you guys can do it. Then the faster things are going to change for you. Okay. Okay. Whew, I'm like out of breath. I always get so excited and I get out of breath. Okay. So self-love, like I said, is the ability to put yourself first, to prioritize yourself. We've all been conditioned. And if you see me looking over here, I have my little notes because I love to go on a million tangents and we just don't have time for that today. So here we go. um, we have been conditioned that putting ourselves first is selfish, and we're taught to put everyone before us because that's the noble thing to do. But if we are not taking care of ourselves, if we are not putting ourselves first, if then we are literally pouring from an empty cup. And when we pour from an empty cup, what does that mean? That means we're drained, we're not showing up as our best self. We might not feel the best about ourselves, right? And so I want you to make a promise to yourself right now. I want you to write it down, put it in the chat, put it in your journal, put it in your notes if you're taking notes right now, whatever, put it on a sticky note, put it on your mirror and say, this is your promise to yourself. I treat myself how I desire to be treated. I treat myself how I desire to be treated. Because remember, the world is a giant mirror of how you are thinking, feeling, and being towards yourself at all times. Okay. So if you're constantly giving and people pleasing in hopes that you will be loved more, this is something that I used to do. Like, I'm not coming at this from like a arrogant place. This was me. I graduated top of class from People Pleasing Academy. So just know that when you're seeking outside of yourself for love, you actually need to be focusing on loving yourself so that others love you the same way you love yourself, regardless of what you are doing for them, regardless of if you're doing what they want you to do, regardless of what they're getting from you, right? So that's like where the little like disconnect is, right? Because we're taught growing up, we're taught like what's normal in society is be selfless. Being selfish is bad. Like, being selfish isn't bad. Being selfish is actually, in my opinion, the most selfless thing that you can possibly do, because when you are putting yourself first, you are showing up better. You can be a better mom, a better um employee, a better business owner, like whatever it is that you are, right? You can show up better for yourself if you're taking care of yourself first. So, um, when you are when you are constantly seeing outside of yourself for love and being selfless, you are actually enabling the other person. So think about when a person is honest with you or puts themselves before you. It like levels you up in a way, and it could be a moment of growth for you. So I'll give you an example of this. I used to be the person who, especially with my mentor, my business mentor, I would like, if I had a question, I would just go straight to my business mentor because I was like, well, they have the answer. And what does that do? That kind of like puts gives her like my power, and like kind of tells me that like I can't figure it out on my own, right? And the reality is like I can easily figure out how to do that if I just do a little research or maybe go through my notes. Like, I can figure it out, and I just make sure that whatever I do, um, whatever I like, what if I have a question, no matter what, I always try and figure it out on my own. And then if I absolutely need help, I'll go and I'll ask for help. But I wouldn't have been able to do that had my mentor not set a boundary and been like, honestly, she just stopped replying to me. She's like, you can fucking figure that out on your own. Right. And I eventually I got the point. I was like, okay, like, obviously and it's not anything that like, it's not like she doesn't want to help me. Like, no, it's like that I pay her so she can help me. Right. But the reality is that she sees my potential and she sees that I am capable of doing it on my own. So she just is like, I'm just not going to reply because, you can figure that out on your own. And then what happens? I go and I figure it out on my own, and then I feel better about myself. I feel more accomplished. I feel smart. Like, you know what I'm saying? So when we when we set boundaries, like my coach did, and we don't people please, that that makes the other person level up. So you're actually doing them more of a disservice by not setting your own boundaries, by people pleasing, by doing everything for that person, right? Um, so it levels them up. People pleasing is only going to hold you and the other person back. When you are constantly doing things that you don't like to do, there is a part of you that will begin to resent that other person that you're people pleasing because of a choice that you actually made. And I'll give you a perfect example of this. When you're in a relationship, doing all the things for the other person. Like this has happened to me in a past relationship, right? I was doing all the things for the other person. I was paying the bills, I was cleaning the house, I was going grocery shopping. Literally, like they didn't really do anything. Okay. And I didn't get the realization was I didn't really give them a chance to do anything because I was just like, if I don't do it my way, then it's not going to get done the right way. And then what happened? Because I was doing everything, because I was like, like not even giving that person a chance to be in their masculine energy. We all have masculine and feminine energies inside of us, like all of us. And I'll give you an example using a rubber band to visualize this for you guys. But before I get into that, just know that like when one person is doing everything, then that doesn't allow, especially if it's a man and a woman in a relationship and the woman's doing all the things and the man isn't really doing a whole lot, then it doesn't give the man a lot of space to truly show up in his divine masculine energy. Then he ends up being in his feminine energy, which is what happened in that past relationship that I was in. And then what happened also is I began to resent my partner because he didn't fucking do anything and I was getting mad. But reality was, it was my fault. So it's important to set boundaries, not people please, not do things that you don't want to do, making sure that you're balancing out your feminine, your masculine energies. And the reason that all of this like boundary setting, people pleasing, like all of these things are an example of like you don't want to get into the like you want to set boundaries, you don't want to people please, and all of this is a form of like loving yourself, putting yourself first, right? Okay, I have a rubber band. I gotta show you all the rubber band. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't in my pajamas like 15 minutes ago. Um, wait, I have to get the rubber band. Actually, just use this. Okay. All right. So imagine this is a rubber band and it has tension inside of it, right? So right here, this is the tension. No matter what, and these are two people, a man and a woman and a man, woman and woman, whatever that it may be, it don't matter. Okay. This is always, no matter what, this tension has to be there. So if a person in the relationship, because we all have masculine and feminine energies. So if a person in the relationship is like super needy and like, man, I need you, help me, man, then this person is like subconsciously going to, because there always has to be that tension, run away, run away, run away, right? But the moment that this person, or I'm sorry, this person that was needy starts to pull back, what happens? This person has to come back to them because there always has to be that tension, right? So it's kind of like a fun little trick to play, right? So I have played this game. It's not a game, but it's just science, okay? If you find yourself in a relationship or dating or whatever the case may be, and maybe they're pulling away, instead of you being like, oh my gosh, no, wait, man, have more respect for yourself and pull away too. And you either like, you set that boundary, you have that knowing that like you don't need anyone because you love yourself unconditionally, right? And so if they walk away and continue to walk the other way, then so be it. If not, then they're going to come back to you. And that's just science because there always has to be tension in that rubber band. So I love that example. 10 out of 10 recommend using remembering that and using that. If you ever find yourself in a situation where they're like pulling away, or maybe they're being super needy and you're pulling away, you're like, oh, this is that rubber band example. Okay. Let's see here. Another example of this, of people pleasing, constantly saying yes to things that you didn't even want to do in the first place. Let's say that you have a plan to stay in, okay? You've penciled yourself in. You have made plans to date yourself instead, okay? Which is like watching a movie, enjoy some alone time, and then you get a text from a friend asking you out to dinner, and instead of saying no, you go. And because you are afraid that if you don't go, like your friend's gonna get mad or feel some type of way, and then like you don't want to deal with that, so you just go, even though you don't even want to be there in the first place. And then next thing you know, you're at dinner and you're thinking about how much nicer would it be to be at home, snuggled on the couch with your dog or your cat or whatever you, or your boyfriend, whatever it may be, right? Watching your favorite show. How do you expect other people to put you first and prioritize you first if you are flaking on the plans that you make with yourself? How? It just doesn't work. That's not the law. That's not the universal law, right? The universal law is you prioritize yourself. You don't flake on yourself, then other people aren't going to flake you. Other people are going to prioritize you. The reason that we people please is because we are attempting to fill a void inside us most of the time, like 98% of the time. I deal with this with clients because they're trying to fill this void that we have within ourselves. It's this void of feeling loved and feeling worthy, and we fill it instead of working on like our self love and loving ourselves unconditionally. We fill it with praise from other people. We fill it with like the approval and praise from other people. You guys, I used to thrive off of the praise from other people. I was in a network marketing business, and like 7 years ago. No, but I was. And I made it to the top 2% of the company, and my life looked great on the outside. And the thing is, I was like in this business because their recognition and their praise and like all of the meetings and all of the, you know what I'm saying? Like all of that was just like, it was just filling my ego. It was just filling my that void that I had, not only my ego, but like the void that I had inside of me that was like looking so desperately for that love, for that feeling of like worthiness, when in all reality, like I could give that to myself. I didn't have the tools that I needed. I was doing the best I could with the resources that I had at the time. Right. But I wasn't necessarily like I wasn't thriving and or I wasn't going and working my way to the top of the business because I loved what I was doing. I was working my way up to the top of the business because at the top of the business you get more and more recognition. You get more people, you know, in your on your team, and like it was just this weird thing we don't like anymore. Okay? So, but I began to resent what I was doing because I wasn't fully in it because like I loved what I was doing. I was in it because I was trying to fill this void of like not feeling worthy or not feeling like I was good enough, right? And so I began to resent what I did, and because I began to resent what I did, my entire business blew the fuck up, and I had to start from scratch. And like then that's when I found this work. I had a dark night of the soul, which means basically your whole life just blows up. and then you um and then you start fresh and you do something new. And so that's what I've been doing for the last 2 years, 2.5 years. It's crazy how time flies, but I digress. This was a huge learning moment for my self-awareness journey, and like a big part of it. And here's the thing: we do not need to seek outside validation from ourselves for love or worthiness. Each of you have the power to give whatever you are desiring from outside of yourself to yourself right fucking now. So just know that like anything that you are desiring, anything that you are wanting, if it's worthiness or love, if it's like a word like that, or if it's like maybe a brand new house or a car or whatever the case may be, I'm going to get into this, but like anything that those things can make you feel, you can make yourself feel within your like on your own. You don't need anything from outside of yourself to feel this certain way that you're desiring to feel. Okay. And oftentimes, okay, I'm just going to give you my example. All right. So I used to drive a Mercedes. I wanted a Mercedes. I was like, I want to drive a Benz. And I'm gonna drive the Benz and it's gonna make me feel like I'm the shit, and it's gonna make me feel like people are gonna take me seriously, uh, and it would make them think higher of me because I drove the Benz, right? And I wanted that car so bad. I had it on my vision board. I had like dreamed about it. I like would take pictures of me in my little Honda Civic, but I would put the Mercedes emblem on top of it and pretend that I'm driving the Mercedes. Like it was, I manifested the fuck out of that car. And it was great because it happened. I manifested it, but I manifested it out of a place of not being neutral, right? I had that Benz up on a pedestal. I made it mean something about myself, right? I gave it my power. How silly of me to like give my power away to a fucking car. That car doesn't mean shit about shit. Okay. Excuse me. So, what I'm saying here is yeah, it slapped a shiny band-aid on the void for a minute, but the next thing I knew, I was crying. I had manifested the Benz, and then I started crying in the Benz, okay? Because like you're wondering to yourself, like, why wasn't I happy, right? Why didn't I feel worthy? Why didn't I feel that people valued me? Why weren't more people joining my team? Newsflash, right? It was because I didn't get to the root cause of my issue, and nothing outside of ourselves can fill any void. We are the only ones who have that sort of power. So, what did I do? I got connected to my worthiness, and I like just for being here on earth, because bottom line is there is nothing that makes you feel like nothing outside of yourself, I'm saying, can make you feel worthy. And what I mean by that is like, think of a baby. I give this example a lot. When you were a baby, when anyone gets pregnant, right? There's a soul comes down and little belly, and you're all excited, and everyone's excited, and everyone's giving it love, and you have a baby shower, and you give it gifts, and you don't even know the child yet, but you just are obsessed with it, and you love it, and you want to give it everything, and everyone is like on board and like wants to help you and like wants to be there for the baby. What the fuck did that baby do to get all of that praise and love and affection and gifts and all the things? What did it do? What did it do? Nothing. It didn't do a single freaking thing, right? And so, do you want to know why? It doesn't need to do a fucking thing. It's just worthy simply because it was birthed, right? What happens between birth and I don't know how old anyone is, but however old you are currently, right? That makes you feel like you are any less worthy than you were when you were fucking born. Societal conditioning, right? The magazines, the TV, TikTok, Instagram, right? Like what like get a job, go to school, get to college, be a millionaire, whatever the fuck. Like if you're not this, if you don't own a house, if you don't have a boyfriend, if you don't get married by the age of 30, if you don't have a kid by the age of 30, you're not enough. You're not worthy. Fuck that. I'm sorry, but no. I do not. I unsubscribe. Okay. I unsubscribe. And I unsubscribed when I was like 30 years old because, and I'm 31 now, I'm about to be 32. Time flies. But listen, there is absolutely nothing that means anything about you besides the fact that you are worthy and you are beautiful and you are incredible exactly the way that you are, flaws and all, whatever you see as flaws, right? And I'm going to teach how to fall unbelievably like obsessed and in love with your flaws inside of Glowed Up, okay? But I digress. Bottom line here, what happens between birth and who you are now? Societal pressure. Take all that shit away, unsubscribe, and just start showing up and understanding that you are worthy. Doesn't matter how much money you have in your bank account. Guess what? It doesn't matter. We're literally floating on a giant rock, okay? Like, nothing really is that serious. It is not that serious. And the more you just like start to like embrace that and embody and just be like happy and just choose to love yourself unconditionally and to just live your life without having to like worry so much about what everyone's fucking thinking, because it doesn't matter, the easier your life will get. All right. Um, I just saw so much value in what I brought to the table, regardless of what I had or I didn't have. I stopped letting the pressure of what was normal affect what I thought about myself. I quite literally freed myself from the conditioning that had been placed on me throughout my life. And I came home to me. And nothing, like I said, outside of you will fix the way that you are feeling. You are the only one that can do that. You are the only one that's in charge of your reality. No one or nothing can fix the way that you feel. You are in charge. And now I live my life doing whatever the fuck I want. And I teach other people how to do the exact same. So, what if I were to tell you that you don't actually want whatever it is that you're desiring? Like, whatever it is that you want, what if I were to tell you, like, you don't actually want it? You want how it makes you feel. So, ask yourself, what would having that thing make you feel? And where in your life currently do you already feel that way already? Go ahead in the chat if you are like really wanting something, or you have just this really deep desire. Like, I want to know what, right in the chat, like what it is that you are desiring to have. Don't be shy. Wait, I had a question from Amber. What about for single ladies? I have been treating myself the way I desire to be treated and putting myself first, to the dating off of a pedestal, but still not attracting anyone. Okay. So for the single ladies, I have been treating myself the way I desire to be treated and putting myself first, so dating off of a pedestal, still not attracting anyone. Okay. Well, number one, we have to trust in divine timing. And I like to think of, you're saying that you took it off a pedestal. That's great. I'm curious to know what exactly that means for you, because if I'm anything that we are, and I love that you're treating yourself the way that you desire to be treated, but you have to get to a point. You have to get to a point where, like when I met my boyfriend, my current boyfriend, I literally had an hour before told was meeting up with a girlfriend, and she was like, "Oh, are you dating anyone? Are you seeing anyone?" Blah blah. Blah. And I was like, "No, like I'm so good. Like I do not care. I do not care. Like, I am so good alone, right?" And what happened is, it literally 2 hours later I met my boyfriend. Okay. Like it was very it was very caught off guard. But what I'm saying here is, like, I would, if you haven't already, and this is with me, like, not, this is just me off the top of my head, like I'm not channeling specifically for you, but um is, I feel like, one, it's okay, well now this happens. Your higher self is like, let me talk. So okay, one, what I was going to say prior to being interrupted is that you have to get to a point where, like, you don't even care about, like, you are so good just being alone and being in your own energy and like taking yourself out on dates and like doing that like you don't need, like, you just are so detached from the desire of wanting whatever it is that you're like wanting this relationship, right? And so then higher self kicks in and she goes, you know how first of all, the dating yourself thing, like you need to take yourself out on more dates. That's like getting testing really high for you, Amber. And then also, when you think of like you're on the grass, right? You're in a garden. You're in a garden and you're watering. You have a hose and you're watering the garden, and the hose is the water's not coming through because you're literally gripping so tight. You're like this. And you won't, the water isn't going to flow, right? You're like, I just want it so bad. And so what happens when like we don't just trust that the water is going to flow and that our flowers are going to be blossoming and beautiful when the time is right, when they are ready to bloom, right? As opposed to squeezing on so fucking tight and then being like, why are you not coming? Why are you, like that's not going to do shit, right? Okay. So like we gotta take a deep breath, be totally good with ourselves, trust in divine timing, continue to take yourself out on dates, continue to do more fun things, and then see what happens. But like also getting really clear, see these things just come, getting really clear on what exactly you want in this dream partner and making sure that you are a dream partner for your dream partner, right? That was a big one for me too. Okay, so Karina, we got financially stable. Okay, so money, a lot of things like money, financially secure. Amber, you're so welcome. Financially, I'm seeing a lot of like career and financial. So we'll go over this money one, right? So if we all want more money, let's be real, right? Like money is great. It's great to have. Money is also a renewable resource. Money is also an energy, right? It flows. It's a high frequency slut. That's what my mentor calls it. And I fucking love that. So I'll steal it all day. But I'm running, whenever I channel, I run out of breath and get all excited. Okay. So when, I want you to think of this. How would having a shit ton of money make you feel? Right? Having a shit ton of money would make you feel valued, powerful, secure. I mean, give me more if you guys can think of any. Like all of these feelings, right? Like the majority of the biggest one here, like abundant, right? The biggest one here though is like valued, abundant, secure, safe. Safety is a good one, right? So like where in your life currently do you feel valued, safe, secure, right? All of the feelings that money would make you feel, because the reality is money is a man-made thing, right? Like just like time. It's a man-made thing. It's literally a piece of fucking paper, and it only means what it means because we give it the power to mean that, right? Literally, there's another example of how powerful we are. Okay? We can create whatever the fuck it is that we want to create. So when we think of money and manifesting more money, one, you got to take it the fuck off the pedestal, which I'm going to be teaching in Glowed Up as well, how to take things off of a pedestal once and for all. Two, I'm going to be like, we got to take it off the pedestal. We got to start to focus on abundance, like how abundant we are, right? I'll give you guys this tool. Start a note in your phone, call it I am abundant, right? You're going to start to clock every single micro moment of where you feel abundant as fuck. And I'm talking like I'm abundant in clothes in my closet, I'm abundant in a bed, I'm abundant in a roof over my head, I'm abundant in the car that I drive, I'm abundant in air, I'm abundant in water, I'm abundant in hair, like I don't know, you know what I'm saying? Like literally everything. Like I'm abundant, I was able to buy coffee today, right? Like, oh my God. Literally, there was a time. I'm gonna be real with you guys right now. There was a time where I had $10 in my bank account. Okay. I had $10 in my bank account. And I would be like, I'm so abundant. I'm so abundant. I have $10 in my bank account and I am
so freaking abundant. And I'm going to go to Starbucks and get a venti coffee. Spend it all. But I was so like happy and excited and like stoked that like I had that $10 and I was so abundant and I was able to go buy. And a lot of people don't think like that. They're thinking like, oh my God, like that's very irresponsible of her to spend her last $10 on a venti cup of coffee. But guess what? It made me happy. And that's all I give a fuck about is being happy. Okay. So, and I also understand that like money just comes and goes and I don't make it mean anything about me. Okay. So let's see here. I want to feel loved and that I matter. Lori, you are so loved and you 100% matter. And I know it is so much easier said than feeling, right? And I want you to think about that feeling, right? Feeling loved. So right now, I think right now, if I'm looking in on it, you're really looking for like that significant other aspect of things. And this is when we put a lot of our um, happiness and our I need to feel like I can only feel this when I can only feel X when I have Y, right? Like that is doing what? That is giving our power away. We have to learn how to feel loved and that we matter without anything. And how we do that is by again clocking the micro moments, the same thing as the money thing, right? Clocking the micro moments of when you feel loved and when you feel like you matter. Like, and this could be like you opened the door for somebody earlier today and like you matter because you like that. I'm sure they appreciated that, right? It could be maybe you have friends that really love you, really love to hang out with you, really need you, like, right? They ask you for advice. That's you mattering. Like, start to clock and focus on, because remember, what we focus on grows. So when you start to focus on the things that truly matter, which are or like that which are like the fact that you already have these um reflect like you already are loved and you already do matter. It's just focusing on where in your life that's showing up, and then the more you focus on it, the more it will grow. And then the more you it grows and you focus on it, the more you're going to feel those feelings, right? And that's the same with everything. um okay. I will read through I'm going to read through the rest of these comment or like questions at the end. I have like a little Q&A situation, and you guys were going to go over an hour. I apologize in advance. Um okay. So let's move on, and I promise I'll go through everyone's questions at the end. I just want to make sure we get through everything here. So just remember that like whenever we are desiring something, we don't actually desire that thing, we desire how it makes us feel. Um and remembering that like what you focus on, you get more of. So if you're focused on not having X, Y, and Z, then you're in a mindset of lack. And that's going to radiate off of your creator field or your electromagnetic field. You'll also hear me call it an EMF, right? So because of that, because it's radiating off of your EMF field, it's that vibe, right? That vibe that you feel around people and yourself. That is, and if you're focused on lack, then guess what is going to happen? It's radiating off your EMF field, and you're going to get more lack. You're going to attract more lack in your life. So, what we want to focus on is more abundance. If you are desiring more in your life, you want to focus on all the things that you are abundant in, currently. There's one more thing.
All right. If you want to hear that one last thing, all about how to become an energetic match for more, go ahead and check out the show notes below. I put the link so that you can get the recording for this free masterclass, Love Yourself Instead, in the show notes below. I do mention Glowed Up a lot, my 6-week self love and self image mastery course. We started last week. Week one has already coming on. However, it is recorded and placed inside of your portal when you sign up. I did close the doors for this on Sunday. However, if you are dying to get in and you just know you have this intuitive pull to join us last minute, DM me on Instagram at Mikaela Filar at Mikaela Filar, and let's see if I can get you in last minute. Um, because I just, if you feel called, I want as many people as I can fit in order to still give everyone the best experience. But if you feel called, I do have a few more spots left. So doors are closed technically, but if you have to get in and you are ready to make change in your reality, just DM me, let me know, or email the team. And I'll put the info for that as well in the show notes below. And yeah, that is all I've got for you for today's episode. If you like this, again, please leave a rating and review. Let me know if you do end up listening to the full recording. Let me know, like DM me a testimonial. How did it help you? What you got from it? That would help so, so much for my business and for others that are on the fence or maybe really need this work and this message. So, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you, and we will see you next week. Chat soon.